Happy Wedding Hero Wednesday, everybody. Mark here. Hope you're doing absolutely great. I'm trying to match the thumbnail here so you know you came to the right place. It is Wedding Hero Wednesday. That means it is time to pick up where we left off last week. This is session 15 on May the 15th. Maybe my mind is easily blown, but I love that. I think session 10 was on April 10th. Which was just so serendipitous. And I said, this will never happen again. Well, here we are, just 5 sessions later, the 15th session on the 15th of May. So glad you could join us. What does it all mean? Like a double rainbow? I don't know. But thanks for being here, everybody. Live, if you're on the replay, thanks for being here and watching the replay as well. Let me just check what's going on in the chat. Today we're going to cover, we're basically going to end our conversation with our couple. We're at the part of the book where we're at the end of the spreadsheet. We're at the end of the conversation. How did you start the conversation? Well, you're going to have to go back to earlier weeks for that or earlier pages. We've been through this whole 1-hour workshop with our couple, workshopping their ceremony, and we're bringing it to the end here today. So I'm super excited to end this off. This is kind of our last week with the spreadsheet there, which you see in the corner. I will pull that up. But what is happening in the chat? Who tagged the wall first? Paul checking in from rainy Trumbull, Connecticut. Oh no, it's raining. It's beautiful. It's hot. It's sunny out today. I rode my motorcycle to St. Andrews. Paul, I know you're always asking me, and when we email back and forth because you're an Unboring Wedding Academy member, and yes, I'm in touch with members. Whenever you have a question, you often sign off and say, hope you get the bike out or something like that. So the bike is out. I just spent a few $100 getting it tuned up and a new tire on it and all that stuff, and it just feels great to be not freezing on the bike. Yesterday was the first day where I wasn't freezing. So there's rain coming apparently, though. All good things must come to an end. Mike is here. Greetings from Jacksonville, Florida. Good to see you. Hope things are well there. I was watching the F1 Grand Prix in Miami there last weekend, and Florida looked pretty nice. Jeff is here. Hello, everyone, on another rainy Wednesday. Jeff is also enjoying the rain. Beth is here from beautiful Perry City, Utah. Man, love it out there. And this is my chance to plug Wedding MBA in Las Vegas. I know it's your neighbor, but Nevada in November, where I get to meet so many of you. There's a room full of officiants. I get to speak. I get to exhibit. I take members of Unboring Wedding Academy out for dinner. So super fun. And when I just see Utah, I'm like, why not talk about Nevada right now? Mitzi, good to see you. Live in Los Angeles on a very gray May day. Very gray in Los Angeles. We got your LA weather out here right outside my window, Mitzi. So thank you for lending that to us. Tamara's here from beautiful Illinois. Sandy, good to see you here, member of Unboring Wedding Academy as well as our others who I've mentioned here. Mitzi, of course, and Sandy is tagging up the sunshine on the wall there. Thank you. I gotta show that just so we can bask in it. The triple suns of Tatooine. Now I'm gonna have Star Wars people crashing in on me. Are there 3 suns in Tatooine or just 2? I forget. I think it's double sunset. Anyway. Forgive me for that. Bill, good to see you here. Spring is springing and gorgeous on Lake Tahoe. Amazing. And then we have Rockin' Reverend Rhonda, I believe. House. Oh, I skipped your previous. Rockin' Reverend Rhonda. I knew that before I even saw you identify yourself. I just looked at R.L. Reed. And then, of course, I just saw house. But you're in the house. That's awesome. Thanks for being here. Today, as I said, we are going to cover, the business of wrapping up the ceremony really well, which I call, and if you're in Unboring Wedding Academy and you've heard me talk about this before, I call this the grand finale. There is a best way to end the ceremony, and it is not with closing remarks or announcements, okay? I see this too much. I see this in practice when I'm a guest at weddings. I see this when people just get my quick coaching package. And even though I have it clearly marked in the margins, watch my video on how to end a wedding ceremony to the grand finale. It's amazing to me how many couples override that. They think, no, we don't want to stand there while you're giving announcements. Send us up the aisle and then do that. And I assure you, officiant, celebrant friend of mine, you do not want to end it that way. Trust me, trust me, trust me. The best way to do it is the way that I'm going to recommend, and we're going to kind of tackle those two birds with one stone. I can't really, talk about how to end the ceremony without taking on this little pet project of mine, getting on this hobby horse of mine about don't present them and then give the closing remarks. It's just not good. It's kind of like what I said about kiss then sign, not sign then kiss. The order in which you put things really does make a difference. So I will talk to you about that today, and then I'll talk about how to guide your couple through these questions in the spreadsheet. So if you're following along with your own copy of the book, Wedding Zero to Ceremony Hero, I'm getting better at saying that 15 weeks in. It took me about 13 weeks to be able to say the title of my book. But I'm getting okay at it. Wedding Zero to Ceremony Hero. We're on page 87 right now. If you have your own copy, and if you don't, grab one on Amazon. Have it on the shelf as like a reference. And of course, you get the spreadsheet with this. unboringweddingacademy.com/spreadsheet. If you'd like to grab that now it's a free gift as a thank you for reading the book. Free gift as a thank you for being here live with these sessions. Okay. Doris is here from New Jersey. Nice. We got rain today. Stop talking about the rain, everybody. It's ruining this incredible day, knowing that rain is coming. Well, spring flowers and all that stuff. I guess it's not that bad. Ava's here from Connecticut. Some showers today, but the grass looks gorgeous. I'm so glad to hear that. My lawn looks like the surface of the moon because last year we had grubs. All right. I'm just talking about stuff that doesn't really matter. Cecilia's here from Victoria. Good to see you. And Beth says, I want to join the party in Vegas. Sounds fun and amazing and fun. It is fun and amazing and fun and so much fun. So do it. If you get a ticket, use code MARK. I can't say that enough. It is the best code you will get. It takes $20 off of any other code that's out there. Speaker codes are the best codes. So if you're going to get a ticket for Vegas, which you should do earlier rather than later, Wedding MBA, use the code MARK at checkout, and you'll just watch some money come right off of that ticket. Okay, so let's get into it here. I'll pull up the spreadsheet so you can see where we have been at. Okay, we have, my goodness, look at this. We're on row 71, and yeah, some of the rows are just headers, but like think about how we've talked about at least 50 items, details, stones that we do not want to leave unturned with our couple. And we've moved through all of these things, this before the ceremony, the elements, how we're lined up, etc., etc., etc. And now we are finally at we talked about the signing last week. So let's slow it down a bit. All the signing details, which again, I got some great emails from members of the Academy who saw I was going to talk about this, and said, they tried the signing in the ceremony for the first time. And yeah, there's no going back. It's a lot of fun. They convinced their couple to give it a shot. So you don't have to do the signing before or after and grind things down. Do it in front of the guests. Pose for photos. Everybody gets to see. Play a fun song. It's super awesome. So if you haven't watched last week, go back to session 14 and watch that. And in the same way that you want to maybe propose to your couple to do this, I'm going to say, make sure, even if your couple's like not super into it, explain to them why you want to do closing remarks, then the presentation and the recessional. Okay, so I've grouped this closing remarks together here. I've grouped the presentation of the couple into your closing remarks, officiant celebrant, because after the signing, you come back to the center. They are facing their guests. If it's a bride or brides, they've got their flowers back. You're not going to be standing. I think I mentioned this last week. You're not going to be standing behind them at this point. So think about it logistically. They were facing each other during the ceremony, holding hands, and you're kind of their anchor centered between them. But at this point, when they come back and they're holding hands and facing the aisle, if you're kind of between them, you're actually behind them, which is weird. It doesn't make any sense. So typically I'm standing to the couple's left or right, depending on just how we come back. I don't overthink it. I'm more comfortable standing in front of the best man instead of the maid of honor, for example, if that's the setup of best attendance. So use your judgment, but don't stand behind the couple and be trying to give your closing remarks from behind them, especially if you're shorter. It's kind of, or if they're taller. So this is the setup now where just put it in your head. Imagine this moment of you just came back from the signing. Everybody's been laughing. Super fun song is just faded out. The couple is looking at their guests. The guests are looking back at the couple, which again, this is part of your pitch for why you do a signing at all. And now you're going to give some quick closing remarks. And if you're wondering, Mark, you're describing this to us as officiant celebrant viewers. What do you say to your couple? I say it to them the same way I said to you, not teaching them so much, but I say, okay, so thank you. Now we're at the part where, and I love casting this vision, but putting it in their mind, what is going to be happening. You see, they get excited just thinking about this moment. And I love that. And so, you set that up for them. Okay, you, Sam and Alex, you're going to be facing the guests. You got your flowers back. You're ready to go down. Your guests are looking at you. You're looking at them. Really fun. Now, I want to do a couple of things here by way of closing remarks, okay? And this is what you're going to lead them through. These next 3 rows are basically the content of your quick, high energy closing remarks. Now, a lot of people say, how come there's not more here? Or, how quick can it be? You don't want to get ground down into too many pedantics. A lot of time that is for the DJ or the MC of the reception to get into like where smoking areas are or where bathrooms are or that kind of thing. That a lot of times save that for the start of the reception when the DJ is welcoming people in and giving some kind of housekeeping about what to expect at the reception, for example. So really here, it's about those 2 things on the spreadsheet, the next row here. And the first one is announcements. What are the wedding couple doing next? Okay. What are the wedding couple doing next? They are the guests of honor, the stars of the show. I know it's weird to think of like, the couple are the guests, but in the hosts of honor, they're the main event. So anytime the guests are kind of congregated, even for a cocktail hour, they kind of want to know where. I mean, some of them are family who haven't seen this couple in years. They're excited to talk to them. They're excited to celebrate them, drink with them, party with them, dance with them. When is that going to start? And so I really do like to kind of set everybody's mind at ease and tell them what they're doing next. So this is where you ask the couple, what are the wedding couple doing next? Okay. Let me just check in and see here how everything's going. Good. Nothing in the chat. And I will take this moment to say, I like to end at the bottom of the hour. So if you're wondering when is this going to end, probably, in about 15 minutes or so. I'm happy to take any questions. And so pop them in the chat by any means. I do come in and out here checking to see if anything is going on in the chat that I might be missing. Okay. And then there'll be time at the end. So a couple of things that might happen here in terms of what you say. A lot of times, I'd say 90% of the time, I typically say, our couple is heading out for photos with each other, with friends, family, and their party. They will rejoin us. Actually, I don't usually say friends because then people are wondering, with close family or immediate family and their wedding party, and they will rejoin us. See how quick that was? The purpose of that, again, is to just let people know where the couple are. Now, sometimes I do say, and it gets a cheer, our couple is heading straight for the bar now. They want to start celebrating with you right away. So they're going to beat you there, but be hot on their heels, okay? And that gets a laugh and people are excited. And that way they know the couple are heading straight to the bar. How would you know that unless you had this meeting and asked them this question? So either you're setting the guest mind at ease that they're heading out, but they're coming back, don't worry. Or sometimes they say they're going to, they're going to be an hour taking photos by the river. They will rejoin us. That way people have an expectation of where the couple are going. Or like I said, straight to the bar, time to start partying with them. They're going to get their first drinks. They want you to enjoy, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody cheers. Good. It's that quick. These closing remarks are not slow and draggy and pedantic, okay? Then the second thing is, what do the guests need to do now? So, as I was hinting, you know, the couple are heading to the bar. They want you to join them. Or typically, like I say, 90% of the time, couple are heading out for photos. They're going to be down at the river with their wedding party and close family. They will rejoin us. In the meantime, and you might want to say it in that fun kind of MC voice, it is time to party. It's time to enjoy cocktail hour. And so, I'll say something like, it is cocktail hour, but I will ask the couple here because I tell them I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. I don't want to say there's food, there's appetizers, there's bouncy castles, and it's just champagne. Like, that nothing wrong with champagne, but obviously you don't want to promise them the stars and just give them the moon. So I really want to be brief but be concise about what guests can expect. A lot of time, grab a beer from the canoe full of ice right over there, or head to the reception, the cocktail hour patio, straight through the French doors. To the left, you'll see a terrace. That is where there will be drinks and hors d'oeuvres, canapes. Please enjoy each other in that space, the beautiful grounds. And with the reception set to begin at. So, back to what I was saying, you want to be concise and clear about what cocktail hour looks like, or just hangout time in the yard playing lawn darts and grabbing beers out of a big trough of ice. Whatever that is, make it really quick and concise, whether it's potluck style food or whatever happening for guests after. But just mention hors d'oeuvres or appetizers and food. If it's just food, if it's just drinks, it's very rarely just food and not drinks. If it's just drinks, then just say that. Enjoy a drink, the bar is open, and don't say anything about food. So that's why I really want to be clear with the couple about what the guests can expect and where they need to go. You're not going to give crazy detailed instructions, but it typically is something like, head through the French doors to the left, you'll see a terrace. That is where the cocktail hour will begin. Or like I say, in this space, a lot of time I say that, the staff will be flipping the chairs into tables. So if you could move off to the bar, you'll see the staff transforming this space into the dinner and party room. So just really quick, like I said. And then what you want to talk about next is, where they're going. But then I always ask the couple, do you want me to say what time the dinner is, the reception, the food? Some couples say, no, we don't want to be stressed by a schedule. The kitchen staff or whatever, the venue staff, know that we want to start at 6:30. But we don't want to give ourselves a clock to punch or whatever. So we don't know how long photos are going to take. So please just say with the reception to follow. Those are pretty much the two options here. When I talk about there's going to be cocktail hour, there's going to be food, there's going to be drinks, enjoy the space. Reception will follow, or is set to begin at. I like to say is set to begin because that's like some wiggle room. Set to begin at 6 or 7. And some couples will say, please give the time. That way, if anybody wanders off, depending on the size of the grounds, like we have Kingsbrae Garden in St. Andrews, and people have access to the full, beautiful gardens, and sometimes they want to know what time they need to be back. So for a wedding like Kingsbrae, the couple usually asks me to set a time. And if they don't, I often advise them, you might have some couples that wander off and they don't know what time to be back, or they will want to know what time to be back. And you want to make this unambiguous for them. Other places, it's like a barn venue in the middle of nowhere. Nobody's going anywhere. And so maybe the couple just says, no need to say the time. They'll get the hint, or the DJ will start making some noise, or the planner will start getting people into the barn or whatever when it's reception time. But as I mentioned, we're keeping it brief. And that is why, if I could just say it, how about I sum it up for you here? Row 71 here, what are the wedding couple doing next? Okay, so as I said, our couple are heading out for photos by the river with their wedding party and immediate family. They will rejoin us shortly. Check. In the meantime, friends and family, it is cocktail hour. The bar is open. Head through the doors to the left. You'll see a terrace. There will be drinks. There will be hors d'oeuvres served, with the reception set to begin at 6 o'clock. That's it. That's literally all I would say for what is covered in these two cells, and I tell the couple that, okay? And if you even want to demonstrate it for them like that, if you need to plead your case as to, let us go do the presentation and then make those remarks, and I would say no. Here's why that's a mistake: is you want to end on the big cheer when you present them. That's our next row. But you want to present them, boom, send them up the aisle, big song, people shouting, throwing the whatever, biodegradable confetti. And you don't want to have to then fade the music and say some things after that. You want to be done. Everybody wants it to be done. End with the pyrotechnic bang. And then don't try to kind of herd cat. Just a moment, folks. Before I say, no, people are spilling out. People are going. The party's heading up the aisle. The horse has left the barn. All the energy is super heightened. End with that grand finale. So if your couple sees on paper or thinks, oh man, we don't want these grinding, pedantic, slow everything down, kill the mood announcements. It's not like that. It's what the couple are doing, what the guests are doing. Boom. Then I usually say, and if you're a member of Unboring Wedding Academy, this is kind of insider information. You get my script. This is not in the book, but thanks for coming on behalf of the friends and family. We so appreciate you making this day special for Sam and Alex. And then I typically ask a question: are you ready to party as hard as these two are in love tonight? Are you ready? And people just cheer and scream their heads off before I can even finish that sentence. Then it's time to present them, which is this third row. Wording for the presentation of the couple. Wording for the presentation of the couple. This is important because it is the last thing that you are going to say. And I always say, I do not want to bomb on the last name, for example. The last name is the last word of the ceremony. I want to be able to say, I present to you for the first time, Mr. and Mr. Benoit, something like that. You want to get that right. So I ask them, typically there's a couple of options here, and a lot of couples don't know, especially if they're not changing their last name. I will say, do you want me to say Mr. and Mrs. here, or do you want me to say first names as husband and wife, or wife and wife, whatever it is? And a lot of time they'll look at each other and just decide right then and there. Now, again, this is what makes our workshop only 1 hour. Is if they don't know, you don't sit here and watch them argue and hash it out, right? That is an important part of keeping this moving along. If they don't know, they don't know. But a lot of time they'll look at each other, have a quick discussion, and say, yeah, let's go with first names as wife and wife. Or you can say, I present you for the very first time, Sam and Alex, as a married couple. That's another option. And it depends where you're from, but most of the time it is the, husband and husband, or first names as husband and wife, or Mr. and Mrs. last name. That's the two major choices. Now, again, if they say, we don't know if we love husband and wife, I typically ask them that, but we asked them earlier in the spreadsheet, if you remember, when we pronounce them married. I pronounce you wife and wife. I'll say, are you comfortable with that? I've had some couples say, I do not like those traditional title roles. We don't like that. So please don't say that. Just pronounce us married, present us as married for the very first time as a married couple, something like that. So you can do that. And so that's typically the options there. Is first names only as title and title, or first names as officially married, and you can end on the word married, Oprah style. Bang, everybody screams and claps and shouts, and the music comes on and it's over. Or I present you for the very first time, Mrs. and Mrs. last name, like Oprah. And yeah, bring out your inner Oprah. You get a car, you get a car. Except we don't get to give out cars. But we say their last name in that way, and the excitement will be even more than Oprah's crowd getting a car, I guarantee you. Cheers, clapping, screaming, big song comes on, and up they go, up the aisle. And here's a little quick thing that I include in the book that it can really throw you for a ringer here as we bring this conversation home. You want to always traditionally, it's kind of the polite thing, the tradition, to state if it's a bride and groom, you want to traditionally state the bride's name first, okay? So if it's like Ashley and Luke, the whole ceremony, it's just kind of, I guess, officiant celebrant etiquette to say Ashley and Luke, Ashley and Luke. That's a big question that comes up a lot. Who do you say first? Ashley, then in terms of the names, it's the bride first. In terms of going first in the ceremony, whether it's the ring exchange or the vows, if they each need to do something, who goes first? It's traditionally the groom. And so I'm sure that comes from some weird patriarchal thing where the groom, it's the marriage was the groom's say to begin with. So the groom does it and then the bride does it. So this is where I would say you can start with I typically just follow that convention. Bride's name first, then groom's. Anytime you're saying them as a couple, like for the love about section or other things you hear me talk about in Unboring Wedding Academy, telling the love story, Ashley and Luke this, Ashley and Luke that. But then when it comes to their turns, you ask the groom to go first, then the bride. Okay, again, if we're talking same-sex wedding, this is moot. The reason why I'm bringing this up here is because this is the only time, because it's weird to say I present you for the very first time Luke and Ashley Ashley and Luke, because again, the bride's name is first, as husband and wife, just grammatically and respectively. You're basically turning Luke into the bride and Ashley into the groom because, again, grammatical laws of respectivity there. You list the things in the same order. This is the one time that you switch it and say the groom's name first. So if I've been saying Ashley and Luke the whole ceremony, this is the one time where you just want to remember to switch it. I present you for the very first time Luke and Ashley as husband and wife. And just because husband and wife is typically more colloquial, but you can say wife and husband. But again, husband doesn't hold as well as what? Because I don't usually, just my style, I don't usually get the F out before everybody's clapping, the music comes on. I don't even have to say the letter F. I just say husband and what? And let everybody drown me out. So that's kind of, again, the grand finale. When everybody knows it's done, music comes on, bang, the emotional pyrotechnics. But just be mindful of that little switch at the end, unless you want to switch wife and husband just to keep it consistent, but that's up to you. That's a little flag that I give for you, okay? And so with that that brings us to, and I'll show you, it's proof, page 88 in the book, which brings us to a new section, number 5, chapter 5 of part 3 of part 2 here, center of the book. This is not in the spreadsheet, so we're officially done the spreadsheet. No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not done the spreadsheet. Let me go back here. I'm getting ahead of myself. The recessional. It's very, very quick here. In my mind, it's usually done here because the recessional is: do the parties recess in the reverse order of entry, or are there special considerations? Almost always, it's going to be the 2x2. Each of their attendants, so traditionally best man, maid of honor, link up arms and go, and then the next pair go, and then the next pair go. The only time for special considerations would be sometimes if they're really uneven in number, you will want to send them one at a time. So let's say there's way more bridesmaids than groomsmen, or brides attendants than grooms attendants. You might have to talk here about sending 2 of the bride's attendants, or partner A's attendants, partner B's attendants, and then 1 of partner B's attendants, then 1 of 2 of partner A's, 1 of partner B. So they might need to go down like gears, or I've seen where if it's just 1 more than the others, it's 2. All the pairs go down, but then the last pair would be 3. Pair would be 3. That doesn't make sense. The last group to go down would be, for example, if partner B has more, partner B would send 2, and then partner A's kind of odd person would link up with them, and then they would go down together. So that's where this row here makes an allowance for how it might not be clean and simple 2x2 Noah's Ark style. It might be a case where you need to think about different numbers and how they're going to go down the aisle, staggered or one at a time, or even single file. So you want everything in this conversation to unearth what the couple are thinking. You're not presupposing anything, including the recessional. So it could be that even with 6 and 6 on each time, your couple says, oh no, we envision them going down single file, which great. So then 1 goes, the next goes, 1 goes, the next goes. You can do it that way. But you want to have that conversation right now at this point in our wedding workshop, because you're a guide for a couple. You can suggest things, That's what these rows are meant to unlock, is just to discuss options with your couple. Now, where are the parties going when they leave? Boy, I'm glad I caught these last two rows because it's kind of important. This is really for the rehearsal, which I always recommend you have. And if you're a member of Unboring Wedding Academy, you know that I talk about it's just best to include a rehearsal. Everybody is more at ease. I build it into my price. I don't give it as an opt-in option. Hey, pay extra for a rehearsal. A couple are usually going to decline. Everybody's different on this. There's quite a debate about it. My goodness, I've tried it both ways, and I love the rehearsal, not just because everyone feels better on the day, because you get to meet all their people and laugh together, and you show that you're very capable. You impress the friends and family, and it's just a great time. So in the rehearsal, when you're rehearsing, I like to tell the parties what they're doing after. So I'll say, head up the aisle, yes, 2 by 2, gentlemen step forward, offer the arm, and lady, please hook in there, take their arm and head up the aisle. But what they want you to do is go straight to the bar. So, because sometimes the couple want to have a breather by themselves, you send the party to the bar. Or parties stay right on their heels and then head straight to the van because you're heading to the river for photos. Tell the parties what they're doing and where they're going so that when they make that recessional walk, they're not like, what are we doing? Where are we going? And sometimes the couple might want to lose them. They, often want to go to the private place and take a breather and holy cow, we're married, and just have some time alone. And they don't want, and neither do you, to be the one to say, no, guys, leave us alone. So I really like to make this point at the rehearsal and tell the couple's friends wedding party where they're going, hot on the couple's heels, to the transportation, to the bar to join the party. This is really important for, again, flow and people knowing what they're doing. That is ultimately what we want. Okay, now we can say goodbye to the spreadsheet forever. And let me just slip back, put that back in the corner. Okay, how are we feeling here? We're going to end this conversation with tell your couple what's coming next. Just these couple of pages. This has been a real win. I talk about how to start the conversation. This meeting, when it's run this way, is a huge win. And I always hear this from anybody who's read this book, especially Unboring Wedding Academy members who email me on a regular basis and say, Mark, I just had, because stage 1 of Unboring Wedding Academy is this entire book. Stage 1 is me teaching on video how to run this workshop. And so I hear it all the time. My couple loves me. They know that I've got this. Oh my goodness, I feel so confident. I have everything I need to create a script. My couple couldn't believe all the details that were coming out of this spreadsheet. Thank you so much. That is what we want. So at the end of the meeting, I always ask the couple, because at the beginning, remember we said, you're going to feel so much better at the end of this meeting. You're going to feel like your ceremony is real. You know what you're doing. You know that I know what I'm doing. I promise you. That's how you start the meeting, with that guarantee. Then at the end, you ask them, so how do you feel now? Doesn't it feel real? Don't you feel like with other things in the air, like your catering and your dress or whatever else, the decorations, your ceremony has come together and now we just have a few little details to go over? And they say, yes. So the last thing I do at this point is I scroll through the spreadsheet and I'm looking for question marks. Anything that was outstanding, like, no, we didn't know this, we didn't know that. I put a question mark in there. And then I tell them what those things are. So I'll say, oh, you didn't choose a signing song. You want to talk to your cousin about, manning the doors and welcoming guests. And you weren't sure about your vows, whether you wanted to write and read your own or repeat after me. Those are the 3 items you need to talk about. And you'll see those clearly listed in the script, which is my segue to telling them over the next few days, because my process and what I teach in Unboring Wedding Academy is, if you can, within 24 hours, come out of this meeting and create their script from this information. It's fresh in your mind. And that way, you remember the conversation, you're looking at the spreadsheet, and you just go and make the script. Now, if you're in Unboring Wedding Academy, you just copy my script template and start changing things over. If you don't have that, you're going to have to crack your knuckles, start with, a blank sheet of paper and start outlining the things they want, but craft their script. Now, part 3 of this book is how to do that. Again, if you have Unboring Wedding Academy, you just copy my template over and you're good to go. You're swapping in names and kind of massaging some of the information. But what's really important here is to remember that it's time to get them their script and to tell them what to expect. So I say within the next few days, there's again the under promise and over deliver. I don't say in 1 hour after you leave, even though that might be true. Over the next few days, I'm going to email you the link to your script. I use Google Docs. The things that we did not know are going to be clearly marked in there, the TBDs, the to be confirms, whatever it is. And then I'll say, so you can reply to those comments right there in the document. You can email me, you can text me, whatever you'd like. But you can edit the document directly. You can go into your script and add the songs and add the names, anything that wasn't nailed down. And I will tell you, friend, typically at the, when you get to a wedding workshop, most couples know, like I'll tell them at the beginning of the conversation, you'll know 95% of the things. There might be 3, 4, 5 things that you still need to decide. That's almost always true. You go back through, you look for question marks, and you say, there were only 3 things left to decide. And we've got 4 to 6 weeks to go before the ceremony, right? Ideally, you're having this meeting 4 to 6 weeks before the day, if you're on a comfortable timeline. And so you tell them that. They feel great. They know what to expect. You have everything you need. And like I said, I recommend when you say your goodbyes, have a great week or whatever it is. You've met at a local coffee shop, or if you've done it on Zoom, you sign off. Do it right away. You'll thank yourself. Take that half hour to an hour and just fill in the spreadsheet. Now, again, with Unboring Wedding Academy members, it takes about 20 minutes to swap in names, especially if you use Control F and change some things, add some. It's all there already. Mostly you just swap names and delete. There's even placeholder vows and ring scripts and things like that. And the insiders in the academy know that I'm working on this software that's going to be released later this year that will automatically take all this information from the workshop template. It won't be a spreadsheet anymore. You click a button and it's all going to port in. Your script is going to be already done with the click of a button. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I cannot wait. So that will even allow this to happen even faster, because we want to get the full script to our couple to sign off on right away. And I tell them in the same email, you're going to get the link to that script. You're also going to get the email with the link to the questions that I need to ask you. And so that is where you want to ask them some questions so you can write their unboring love story, right? How they met, first date, proposal stuff. And so just tell them that. Coming out of this meeting, you're going to get the script. You're going to get a little questionnaire from me because I want to write your love story. And that's what you can expect. And if you're a professional, you might want to even at this time tell them, which I typically do, we've got 4 weeks to go. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to email your friends and family because that's part of my process as well. I like to read what makes them so great. And then 2 weeks before, I tell the couple, you're going to get an email requesting that you pay the remaining balance, because I take 50% as a booking retainer, non-refundable, and then 50% fully paid 2 weeks before the wedding. So I tell them that in the workshop. Expect your script link, expect your story questionnaire link, and in 2 weeks, I'm going to email your friends and family, the ones whose email addresses you give me, and the remaining balance link to pay off that remaining balance of your payment. Okay, so they fully know. And then I just basically say, I will see you at the rehearsal. So you'll hear from us with those emails, but I'll see you at the rehearsal. Okay, and that's really it. That's how you bring the session with your couple to a strong close. That is how you get all the information. They leave feeling great. You leave with everything you need. Okay, so that's the end of today's presentation. Let me pop into the chat here. Any questions at all? I know you're feeling like you missed the spreadsheet already. Buy a spreadsheet, unboringweddingacademy.com/spreadsheet. You can take it for your own. You get all my tools, resources. Like I say, the script, the story form, things that you just send out if you're a full member of Unboring Wedding Academy. So check that out, unboringweddingacademy.com. You get your email invite to join the course. That, of course, comes with the Love Story Caster, which is our tool that writes your couple's love story for you in less than 3 minutes. Literally, so it's the way I would write it, because I created the software to tell the story in a really fun, down-to-earth, everyday language kind of style. So Unboring Wedding Academy means you get the love story written for you in minutes. You just got to send your couple those questions. And later this year, we are creating the first of its kind unboring officiant software, basically, that is going to make this process free of any spreadsheets and documents sending back and forth. It's a dashboard. It's a software that everybody will get to use at least one time for their ceremony, and then you can purchase an annual license. So that's all the good things coming. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you so you can take on more weddings without spinning all your wheels, taking all your time with the sending and the copying and all that stuff. Google's been helpful. I love it, but it's still, you kind of get bogged down. There's so much more we could do with our time if this happened really quickly and easily. So let me jump in here. Let me see. Oh, Karen is here. Awesome. Late to the party. Hello from Florida. Good to see you. Glad you could pop in if you're still here. Kenneth says, sorry, like, hey, don't have to apologize for being late, Kenneth. You're just here. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoy my expertise. I really appreciate that in my meandering way. Mitzi, it's easier to hold a vowel than a consonant. I love how you articulated my wife. Yeah, I think Oprah knows this. Husband. Singer's trick, elongate the vowels, which is why husband and wife at the end is so nice. So I agree with that. Faye says, hello, everyone. Jeff, question, is there a recommended order? Would the bride's parents or the groom's parents go next? That's interesting. So typically in a wedding, we usually move up, right? The bride is the most important person, so the bride is last. So you want to think about that. The bride's parents usually outrank the groom's parents. So think about pecking order, but sometimes it doesn't make sense in terms of the honorary seating to have the groom come in first with his mom and then the best man say with her mom and join. It's kind of bizarre that way. So sometimes you just want to use your instincts of like, listen, we've got two formal seatings. Best man's going to come and seat the bride's mom because bride's dad is walking her down the aisle. And then we have groom coming in and seating his mom. It would be really weird to have groom and all the groomsmen up there and then wait for best man to come in, seat mom, and then join, right? So sometimes it's just like, use your best judgment. This is the great thing about weddings in the 21st century is you only use those things as a guide. Just use the traditional as a starting point and say, do you want to keep it or do you want to change it? And sometimes it makes a lot of sense to change it as opposed to keep the tradition, okay? Bob is here from New Jersey. First ceremony for family member next week and full of confidence. I'm so love hearing that, Rob. Congrats on your very first. You are going to crush it because clearly you're spending a Wednesday afternoon putting in the work. So love it. And you are a member of Unboring Wedding Academy. So all the more so, I can guarantee that you are going to crush it and melt faces, and it's going to be amazing. And Rob says the Love Story Caster is amazing. I have to keep reassuring members when I get on the phone with them or talk to them that you could have done this without the Love Story Caster. Don't worry, I teach you how in the course. But a lot of you insist, I couldn't have done this without the Love Story Caster. You put your couple's answers in, you click a button, and it pops out an amazing story, the perfect length. And so, yeah, I love it too. I did a vow renewal on the weekend, and I used it. And you can go in and edit and clean up and change a bit. But man, it's all about saving the hours and hours, right? Beth says, yes, you're excited to get it, the software. I'm excited to show it every single week. I have a development meeting with the software company that's building this kind of with my direction. And I look and I keep making changes and I'm being really granular about the details, but it has to complement this process. The software has to fit into the process, not vice versa, which means the workshop spreadsheet is going to look like, I demoed this for members in the members only office hours. I showed you what the panels look like. If you're a member and you didn't see that, go check out the replay of the office hours because it's amazing. You're just clicking through, adding the information, and then you're going to click at the end, and it's just going to generate your script from that. Love it. And then the Love Story Cast is going to be built into that. When you want to send your couple the story form questionnaire, you just click a button and it emails them because their email is already part of the system when you created that ceremony, etc. Sunny, hello from Maine. Hey, my neighbor. I love Mainers. Just right across the board. I can see the U.S. from my house, as Sarah Palin said of Russia. Okay, that's a dated reference. Hello from Maine, officiating my first elopement ceremony this Saturday, looking for nice vows. Okay, nice to see you. If you're looking for nice vows, go to my blog, unboringwedding.com/blog, and search for vows. And I do have like a vow scripting, a vow menu. Nice vows to me are just down to earth, everyday language. There's vows that I put in my script coming out of this meeting with my couple that 99% of couples just say, we love that. It's, very down to earth, promising faithfulness and love and commitment and that kind of thing. So, congrats on your first elopement. I love that you're here. Thank you for joining us. Okay, everybody, if that is it, I am going to head out now. And I have some news in that I am going to be a few weeks. So I hope I don't lose all of you in the next few weeks, but I am going on a little vacation to South America. Central America. I'm going to Costa Rica, and I'll be gone for a couple of weeks with my family, taking a bit of a breather, taking the kids out of school. Don't let school come in the way of a good education. So we're going to go down there and live in Airbnbs and try to speak Spanish and all that stuff. So it'll be a couple of weeks, and then the week after that, I'm going to a ranch. To my daughter has a school trip, and I'm a parent volunteer. So that is when we get back from Costa Rica. I'll be gone for those 3 days as well, to like an adventure ranch as a parent volunteer with my daughter's class. And so it'll be a month. It'll 3 Wednesdays of not being here, and then I will see you again. That's where it's a good break, because as I say, we are about to start part 3, write the script, and I'll give you more detail about that. If you're a member of Unboring Wedding Academy, you're like, well, you just give us our template and we switch. Yeah. But this book wanted to cover, I didn't want to leave anybody hanging. It'll give you the best practices of writing a wedding ceremony script. That is one of the most asked about things. And so the book covers that, and it's super important. Taking all this data, and then you don't just send your couple a spreadsheet, right? We talked about how do you create a script that is, the key is only write the script once. You're not going to make a draft and then another draft and then another, and copy and change your stage copy from this copy you sent them. That's going to really mess you up. So I start this section by saying create the only script you will ever use. And that is super important to get off on that foot. Okay. All right. So thank you very much, everybody. You're so kind to say have a great trip. Let's see. Rob said, you mentioned Vow Renewal. Do you have something like Unboring Vow Renewal Academy? No, I don't. And I'll tell you, my confession is, too, that was my first ever Vow Renewal last week. First ever. Officiating for 10 years. And essentially, I just used, and I told the couple this and they were happy with it. They said, that's why we hired you, Mark. That's why we're asking you. They found me on the internet. They wanted me to basically do an unboring wedding, exactly the same. And I used most of my same scripting, except I just said again, or renew your vows instead of get married. Like, it was almost all the same. So if you're wondering about like what significantly changes for a vow renewal, I'm going to talk about this sometime, because now I'm qualified because I've done one. It was essentially all the same. And so you don't need to change much. We did the vows, we did the rings. I told their love story. I even used the same 3 questions. I said, I'm having trouble with all the water under the bridge. They've been married 20 years. They said, no, most people don't know how we met and the first date and the proposal. So tell it. And I did, and asked them what they love about each other. And they told me, and they read their own vows. It was beautiful, but it followed the Unboring Wedding Academy system. So that just continues to be gold, even for wedding renewals. I've been asked a lot, what would you do for a wedding vow renewal, Mark? And I was like, I'm not sure. Well, I did it. I just followed my own system. And like I say, instead of saying get married, I would say, are you ready for these two to commit their lives to each other? I used a lot of again and once more and still and stuff like that. But that is how that went down. Okay. Sonny says, would the $47 package help me? The $47 package is just my script, right? unboringweddingacademy.com/script. It would help you for sure, but it doesn't come with any help or anything, or even training or tools. My quick help package comes with a crash mini course, because it's kind of for procrastinators. Academy gives you everything in the kitchen sink, just so you're clear. Everything will help you, but the script is really the script. That's all it is, with helpful notes in the margins. You still need to have this meeting with your couple, I would say, and then you can, use my template language and that kind of thing. So thanks for asking. Mitzi, can we think of a software that you're developing as something like a CRM, specifically, or wedding efficiency? Yes, except so the next version would be, like, right now I'm not trying to replace 17 Hats or Honeybook in terms of sending contracts and accepting payment and things. This is the prototype version, and it's going to be amazing. But Mitzi, you're a Wedding Academy member, so I want to be clear. Basically, this is a software that will take the Unboring Wedding Academy process and make it all in one software piece. Anything that's not in Academy, such as how to bill your clients and how to send them a contract and all that, that's not in there. You're going to create a ceremony, put in your couple's email addresses, and then everything after that is just like you click a button to, you go in, you do the workshop with them, click a button, the script is there. Click a button, send them their story form. Click a button, enter their friends and family email addresses. Click a button, they get that survey. The answers that your couple replies, pop, they're right there in your dashboard. The friends and family reply, pop, they're right there in your dashboard. So think about it as like a command center for everything covered in this ceremony creation process, not the professional version. This development company that I'm working with said they would love to do that potentially next year. I just need to invest like another six figures at five figures in it to accept payments, send out contracts, things like that. So I'd love to develop a professional suite, but this software I'm developing is really about automating and making more manageable this process that currently it's great. It's, copy the spreadsheet, go in, then manually enter, copy the script. I want to take away all those copy, send, emailing, copying links, pasting them in. That all disappears. Hopefully that was helpful. So CRM can mean a lot of things. This is more of a ceremony management system rather than a client management system. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you, Karen. Yes, Pura Vida, Sunny says. I'm super excited, and clearly you know the lingo down there. Tamara, love how you innovate. You're constantly making ways to work smarter. I know, right? I can't stand spinning my wheels and wasting time. So thanks a lot. I'm glad you appreciate. Mitzi, thank you so much. I'm super excited as well. Jeff says, Mark, thank you and everyone's feedback to help us be comfortable as officiants. You'll love Costa Rica. I've already been down there once. I went last year, but stayed at a huge resort. And that's where I was like, this year, I want to go and stay like in town and shop for myself and cook for myself and go to, it was a big family thing, big resort, but I loved Costa Rica so much that I was like, I want to actually, get my feet on the pavement, walk around, live like a local for a little bit. So that's going to be eye-opening for my kids because we're not doing the, all you can eat and all you can drink sitting by the pool thing. Thank you so much, Ava. Paul says, get the Academy. Really appreciate it. Hey, Ben, you did sneak in, and I'm glad I caught you. All right, everybody, I'm going to sign off. Have a wonderful, I can't believe I'm saying this, few weeks, and I will see you when I get back in early June for another Wedding Hero Wednesday, and we'll tackle the back half of the book. And yeah, maybe I'll give you an update on my amazing software. If you're a member, I'll definitely be filling you in on that in the office hours, okay? Oh, Mark's slipping in a question here at the end. Do you send the couple a copy of what their friends say about them? No. This is the last question. Mark, what they get is the whole script of everything you've discussed in this conversation, but then you send them the survey for their story and what their friends and family say about them and what they say about each other. They don't see any of your speech. That all goes in your speech. This is part of the Academy process where I talk about you send your couple this script that everything you've discussed here with all those details and everything you say, but then you're going to make another copy of that script and write your speech, their love story, what they love about each other, what friends and family said, and you're going to pop that into your final draft, the copy that you take. But no couple has asked me to see that ahead of time. I always encourage my couples, you don't want to see this before. You want to hear my speech about you, your story, what you love about each other, what your friends and family love about. You want to hear that for the first time in your ceremony, okay? So hopefully that was helpful. Hi, Leo. This is it. Goodbye, Leo. I always say I don't want this to be onerous for people who want to click on the button and see, oh my gosh, it's 53 minutes. But I do love those of you who have hung in this long or jumped in late. And like I say, I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to go to Costa Rica, and I'll be back in a few weeks for another Wedding Hero Wednesday. Thanks for I love Wednesdays with you. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best. I know lots of you have first-time weddings, or you're pros like Leo, like Rockin' Reverend Rhonda, like Ben. You've got tons of ceremony. It was nothing you said, Leo. In fact, you made saying goodbye even harder. Really appreciate you being here. See you again, everybody. Thanks for coming. Marry on. Have a great few weeks of weddings, and I'll see you when I get back.